You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Bible Guys.
Here we are.
We are here.
Yes.
We've been here all week.
Yep.
In fact, we record 5 episodes in one sitting, so technically we've been here all day.
All day.
Yes.
That's right.
But you're hearing it on Friday, and today, Friday, we have a segment.
This is so important for one last time in 2024.
That's right.
It's kind of a bittersweet moment.
Well, it's going to happen again in 2025.
I know, but this is the last time for 2024.
I see. Okay.
So, I mean, this is maybe, I don't know. It feels like this might be the most important one of the whole year. Because it's the last one.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you.
It feels...
No pressure.
So if you don't know, if you're new to the show, maybe the most important segment we do every week is the segment, What Made Chris Mad This Week?
Well,
by far, the fan favorite.
No way. No
far.
way. It's not.
Yep.
Hey, so I feel like after that pressure, that maybe my thing that got me mad is not good enough.
Well, take it up a notch, man. Come on.
Okay.
Don't mail it in.
Hey, I'm not mailing it in, but it happened this morning. So on the way here, that's what made me mad. It was a traffic thing. Here's what happens. So I pull out of my subdivision. I pull up to an intersection where the red light's there and the cars are building up. And there's a guy on my right-hand side. He wants to turn left, but it's got to be through traffic. Have you ever pulled out a gas station and the traffic builds up and you're like, oh, no, I can't get through this traffic. And then you got to wait for the full light.
Right.
But it just turned red.
Right.
So I naturally stop, leaving like a car width space for this guy to pull out.
So he pulls out.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So then the guy next to me in my lane figures it out. Uh-huh. He pulls out and leaves a full. It might have been a little bit more than a car length, right? Because he was at an angle. So this guy figures it out. So here's this guy in a minivan, and he's pulling out real slow to cross 2 lanes of traffic and the turning lane to make a left-hand turn. Well, at the same time, there was another guy coming the opposite way that pulled into the turning lane that wanted to make his left into the Walgreens behind me. And he was mad that we weren't pulled up because we were blocking his left-hand turn.
Right.
So I'm sitting there. And by the way, mind you, the entire thing took maybe 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
20 seconds. But it was enough to make Chris mad.
Okay, no, here's what happens. The guy pulls up next to me in the turning lane. So literally my window is right next to his window. And he goes, meh, 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 like 3 horns. And I look over and he goes, and he looks, and he doesn't just say, beep, beep, hey, will you pull up, right? Yeah. I mean, literally, his face is as far as your face is to me.
Wow.
Just about. And he goes, man, man, man. And I look over and he screams, pull up, man, pull up. It's just, I could literally hear him.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, literally, I'm just 1 car length behind. If he just took a second behind him and looked, he could see that there's a guy pulling out, right? So now this guy starts pulling out. And as he's pulling out, I look back over and I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't even acknowledge the guy.
Yeah, wow.
So this guy pulls out. Again, 5 seconds has passed.
This guy sounds angry.
Guess what he does?
Oh, and just laid on the horn.
Laid on the horn.
Ooh.
And so finally I look over and I go, and I just pointed. And I'm like, look. And he goes, I don't care, pull up. So anyway, this guy pulls out, and then we pull up, and he's like, yeah, and I just thought to myself, listen, if you're that angry, you should not leave the house.
What time in the morning was it?
It was on the way here, so it was like 8:50.
8:50. I wonder what happened this morning that just made him mad.
Well, all I know is that man should have not just got out of bed.
Maybe he got maybe his sausage biscuit was burned at McDonald's.
Maybe, but here's what I know. Listen.
Maybe he didn't have any coffee. That was it. Maybe no coffee.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, here it is. Here's my statement. Driving is a community function.
Yes.
It is a community. It's
not just about you.
Yeah, it is. It is. Think about the rules of the road. It involves every single person, right? Everything is dependent and should consider everybody else.
Yes.
It's not about you and your left-hand turn into Walgreens. It's not. It's about everybody working together to make sure that we safely are able to do all the things that we want to do. And so,
what could be at Walgreens that he needed so bad?
Well, maybe
that was it.
Maybe his work, he benefited that. My wife always does this.
Maybe he had like bunions or something, and he needed some. You know what I mean?
No, what I'm thinking is
maybe he needed some preparation H.
The only thing
that could be it.
The only thing that
he's in a hurry.
I could figure is maybe his work started at 9, And so maybe he was like, I'm really super late, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. But this guy, I mean, it was 20 seconds.
But it made you mad because he broke all the conventions of living in a civil society.
Yes.
Decided he couldn't make room for anybody else. It was only about him.
It was only about him.
Oh, my goodness.
Guess what? It's not about you.
I understand. It's not about you. That's what makes you mad is when people make it all about them.
Yes.
And they're not making it about you.
Well, no, I mean, I don't care about me.
Yeah.
I do care about me, but if you don't consider me.
That's right. That's right.
Right? But as long as you consider me, I'm okay.
Was he driving a truck?
Yes.
Yeah?
He was in a truck.
Okay. Well, good thing you were in a truck.
That's right.
That's right. Look him right in the eye.
That's right. Looked him right in the eye.
That's right.
Yeah, there was, when people don't look around them and consider, have you ever pulled up behind somebody? If they would have just pulled up like 10 more feet, you can edge around them and then go into the right-hand lane.
Yes.
And they have a full car length in front of them, but they just refuse to move up.
Yes.
Guys, come on, man.
I'm not a very patient driver.
It's not about you.
I'm going to confess it.
Yeah.
I'm going to confess right now here in front of God and everybody.
But would
that
you
I
lay on the
acknowledge
horn,
that
though?
I'm not. No, I don't use my horn much.
Yeah.
Not unless driven to.
Right.
On occasion, I will.
Yeah.
Only when I feel like somebody else is being dangerous, I'll use my horn.
Okay.
But if they're not being dangerous, then.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't ever like, but you give a love tap, beep beep. You do that.
Oh yeah. Well, on occasion, yeah. If I need them to move a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
The friendly ones, beep beeps.
Yeah.
But not the beep beep.
Right.
Don't do those.
Yeah.
Those are.
It's amazing how you can make a horn sound friendly.
Yeah.
Beep beep.
Okay. Talking of sounding friendly.
Okay. All right.
Song of Solomon has lots of friendly words.
Lots of friendly talk.
Yeah, there's lots of friendly talk.
In fact, it's one of the most friendly phrases in the Bible.
Yes, PG-13. It's a PG-13 book in the Bible, all about romance.
Yeah.
Right? And the love of a groom for his young bride.
And by the way, we're reading all the way through chapter 3, verse 5.
Apparently. And
by the way, this is assigned to us by Desiree. Would you have chosen to do the Song of Solomon?
I would not have chosen to do the Song of Solomon.
Yes.
Would you?
I would have had to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
I did a message series on the Song of Solomon one time, and it was very, I feel like, well crafted and, like you said, fine-tooth comb, very carefully laid out.
Right.
But right now, we don't prep these things. For our listeners are going to like, we can tell. But for us, the premise behind this is that we're just two guys that like the Bible, and we're sitting here opening it up and talking about what's on the page in front of us right now.
Right.
Like we were at a coffee shop or something, right?
Right.
And so in that case...
Which is what we would do if we were getting together as people at a coffee shop.
That's right. So if that was... So with that being the case, then we feel very vulnerable leaning into this book, because this book is, well... My goodness, it'll make you blush.
Yeah, it'll make you blush sometimes.
Yes. So we're reading in Song of Solomon chapter 2, and we're going to start off with verse 8, because yesterday we read through verse 7 in chapter 2. It says, I hear my lover coming. He is leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. My lover is like a swift gazelle or a young stag. Look, there he is behind the wall, looking through the window, peering into the room. My lover said to me, Rise up, my darling, come away with me, my fair one. Look, the winter is past and the rains are over and gone. The flowers are springing up. The season of singing birds has come, and the cooing of turtle doves fills the air. The fig trees are forming young fruit, and the fragrant grapevines are blossoming. Rise up, my darling, come away with me, my fair one. And then, that was the young woman singing. The groomsman, or the groom says, My dove is hiding behind the rocks, behind an outcrop on the cliff. Let me see your face. Let me hear your voice. Your voice is pleasant and your face is lovely. And then the bridesmaids say, Catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love, for the grapevines are blossoming. And then the young bride says, My lover is mine and I am his. He browses among the lilies. Before the dawn breezes blow and the night shadows flee, return to me, my love, like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains. And then she says, One night as I lay in bed, I yearned for my lover. I yearned for him, but he did not come. So I said to myself, I will get up and roam the city, searching in all its streets and squares. I will search for the one I love. So I searched everywhere, but did not find him. The watchmen stopped me as they made their rounds, and I asked, Have you seen the one I love? Then scarcely had I left them when I found my love. I caught and held him tightly, and then I brought him to my mother's house, into my mother's bed, where I had been conceived.
And then last verse.
Promise me, O women of Jerusalem, by the gazelles and wild deer, do not awaken love until the time is right.
Do not awaken love until the time is right.
Right.
When is the time right?
Everything is in order. Well, when you're ready to actually go into marriage. What she's saying is don't play around with love.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it actually says in the Life Application Study Bible on that note, in this section, Solomon's beloved reflects on her courtship with Solomon, remembering the first day they met and recalling one of her dreams about their being together. One of her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Did she mention a dream?
Let me see.
Huh.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
or it could be just part of the Jewish tradition that it was a dream that she's talking about.
yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? This wasn't this chapter doesn't make you blush that much at all, right?
Oh, well. Sure. There are a lot of metaphors.
Yes,
He's browsing among the lilies.
correct.
So
Correct.
that's all I have to say about that.
Right, but I mean, come on, that's pretty
Yeah.
tame.
So this one is, you can see it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of a feel here. He hops over the wall. He's looking for her. He's calling out to her. There's this romantic intrigue and excitement and whispers, and right, that's kind of what's happening here. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, there's another note that I just saw.
Oh, good.
It says the little foxes. Remember what she said?
Yes, yep.
Catch all
I
the
was gonna
foxes,
comment
those
on
little
that too,
foxes
yep.
before they ruin the vineyard of love. The little foxes are an example of the kinds of problems that can disturb or destroy a relationship. The lovers wanted anything that could potentially cause problems between them to be removed. Often the little foxes can cause the biggest problems in a marriage. Those irritations must not be minimized or ignored, but identified so that together the couple can deal with them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, so far up to this point, almost the entire description of their romance is a garden, trees, flowers, gazelles. Right? It's this very pastoral thing. A garden has to be cultivated, right? So that's a big part of the picture of this love song that's being written throughout the book of Song of Solomon, is that this is a cultivated romance. And what happens is the little foxes, again, they'll start digging holes. They'll start ruining things. They'll dig up the flower bulbs. They'll whatever. And that kind of concept is you have to cultivate the romance. You have to cultivate the relationship, and then understand that it's the little things that'll tear it all apart.
Yeah, that's right.
It's rarely big things.
Right.
How many times I've been in counseling before with couples that were like, I don't think he's ever been unfaithful to me, or he'll say, I don't think she's ever cheated on me.
Right.
We just stopped liking each other.
Correct.
Right? What happened?
Yeah.
It's the little foxes.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's tragedy. If sometimes when a couple loses a child, I think only like seven.
There's all kinds of exterior things. What I'm saying is, I've been in there with lots of people.
Oh, I was just going to say
saying it just
rare.
faded.
It's rare.
Yeah.
So the big things are rare, is what I was going to say. Yeah. There are things, but statistically, it is overwhelmingly the little foxes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or it's the little foxes over time that lead to the big catastrophe.
Correct.
Right? Allowing little things to creep in, and then finally some catastrophic thing happens.
Yeah.
But yeah. So catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love.
Hey, isn't it great how she says, hey, one night I lay in my bed, I yearned for him, I couldn't find him, so I went out to the streets to find him. Now again, this is a physicality thing between man and woman, so I get that part of it. But it is a beautiful thing to to love someone so much that she's like, I refuse not to be with this guy, right? Yeah. So she gets up and she searches for him to where she actually asks, have you seen him? Have you seen him? Have you seen him? And she finally finds him. And it's just that part, the pursuing part, is a very beautiful picture of how much she loves him.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. So again, in that analogy of this vineyard that's being cultivated, that passion and that desire is something that also has to be cultivated through the whole book, right? It keeps hinting at this idea that it has to be managed, that you're cultivating this thing. So in the same way that I mentioned yesterday, if you want what you used to have, you have to do what you used to do. And you used to cultivate all that desire, and you used to build on it, and you used to look for reasons to be together and to chase each other and all that kind of stuff. And so it may seem silly, but it was silly then, let's be honest.
Right.
It was just exciting then. It took your breath away, made your heart beat fast, your palms get sweaty. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you want that romance, you have to continue to pursue those things. And so go back to the places that you used to be. Go back to those same memories and all that. Life has changed, certainly, and you've matured, and life is not as just dreamy as it in real life as it is in those moments when you're overrun by hormones and dreams and you know all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the fact is, I think that there are people who are able to maintain this enthusiasm for each other over long periods of time, and it's because they work at it. It's a cultivated thing. It's something that you choose.
Hey, this one verse right over here where it says in verse number 14, "My dove is hiding behind the rocks, behind an outcrop on the cliff." And then he says to her, "Let me see your face. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is pleasant and your face is lovely." Isn't it interesting how there's just something about the face of the one you love? And I just literally yesterday I went to a friend's, and I had pulled up some photos, and I had this. Have you ever like collaged some pictures together?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, I collaged some pictures together for an anniversary one time, and the collage that I showed was because my wife and I have been together almost as long as you guys have. Which, by the way, you got married in 91,
Yeah.
December of 91. Mm-hmm. So we got married in July of 92.
Oh,
So even though we're both 32 years now,
Yeah.
you'll be 33 before me,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
Even though I'm 6 weeks older than you.
Much older.
Yeah,
than me.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the point is that you and I have a long history of being with our separate wives for a long time.
That's right.
So anyway, I collaged these pictures together of like her being like 16 years old and me being 14. And then I put together some modern pictures, And then have you ever seen the face? Have you ever seen the app that makes you look older?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went ahead and pieced together this thing that made us look like literally like 90. Okay. And so anyway, my friend laughed and said, "Oh my goodness, that doesn't even look like you." She's like, "Man," he goes, "What are you going to do when she gets to look like that?" And I laughed, but in my mind I was thinking, it's no different than from when we were 14 and now we're 53.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like she did when she's 14. And yet she's just as beautiful now, right?
Right.
So we're both older, and it's just, and so I always say, when I see my wife, I always look at her, and every once in a while I say, "Man, you're so pretty. Mm-hmm. You're so pretty." And she's like, "Thanks." And I always say that because there's just something about it where I believe, we're going to be old and wrinkly, but I look forward to that.
Sure.
Don't you?
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we commented on one of the previous episodes that I like aging.
Yeah.
Not entirely, right? But I like my age. I like the fact that life is progressing and all these things. I've made jokes several times. So we have 2 grandchildren now, which is really an amazing thing. And when our grandson was born, our first grandson, I had a friend go, "Dude, you're getting so old," right? So I was like 48, I think, at the time, and "You're getting so old. How does it feel to be a grandfather?" And I said, "It doesn't feel that weird. It's the natural thing, right? My son and his wife are at the age that they should be having kids, so that means I'm at the age that my son should be having kids. That's kind of it just makes sense to me." Yeah. I said, "That's not a surprise. It's not a surprise to discover that I'm a grandfather." I said, "The surprise is to discover that I'm married to a grandmother." Right? Because I don't think I ever planned that. Right. I never thought, what I want.
Right.
Man, I can't wait to the day when I'm married to a grandmother. Yeah. Right? That was never. But we delight in each other so much. So that's a joke. I tease my wife about that. But the reality is, it's such a joy to go through life in this process to grow up together. I mean, we were kids, we were teenagers when we met, like you guys. We weren't quite as young as you, but we met in high school, and then now to be in our 50s raising children and grandchildren, there's a delight in that, but it does require a lot of verbal affirmations. It requires a lot of intentional date nights, right? You guys still do dates?
Oh, yeah.
You do like just date nights? And kids complain, oh, we want to go. No, this isn't for you. It's for us, right? We're going out. And my goal for my kids is that they would move, that they grow up and move away someday and build their own families. That's the goal, right? And so, but my goal for my wife is that she stay with me all the way to the end. Right. So I have to keep investing in her in a different way than I would invest in my kids. And so I love my kids. I provide for my kids. I got some of them still live with me right now, but and I'm happy about that. This is just a stage of life that we're in. But I'm going to make the priority be my wife, because I want this to sustain beyond just the heat of the romance when you first start dating. And in order to do that, you have to again, as we've been saying, cultivating this garden. That's
right. Hey, so for those of you who are watching, I don't want to bore the people who are just listening, but can we get a camera on this?
Look at
that. Okay, so there's Liz and I.
You know what? It's the weird mustache that I think she was really interested in.
I look like Ralph Macchio.
It looks like you have like half a caterpillar on your lip.
So anyway, that's me at 16. That's her at 18. But watch this.
That's you guys getting old.
There's the app that shows us at like 80 or 90. Yeah. That's the picture I was referring to. Look at that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So anyway, so you just get that little face app, whatever that's called, and put your faces on it. It'll make you look ancient.
That's right.
But it's so sweet.
So your old man face. Yeah. You look like the guy that's going to sit on your porch and yell at kids.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. That's right.
Yeah, that's probably what. Dude, I'm that guy now.
And feeding pigeons. You're going to be out there feeding pigeons and yelling at kids on your yard.
I'm sort of that guy now.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Well, we heard you last week complaining about your neighbor a couple weeks ago.
Do you know I get so many comments on that? Because I said.
But you said you're the old man in the neighborhood now. You said that.
I did. But I said I wanted to re-record it because I said that guy's a piece of trash, whatever. And then I tried to back up.
I wouldn't let you. I was like, nope, stand with it. Yeah. Stand.
Yeah, yep. But I gotta confess, I do have a very strong negative feeling against people who don't care for their house. Because again, even a neighborhood is a community event, isn't it?
That's right. Back to your what made Chris mad.
Yeah. So it's like
you live in a civilized society. Be civilized.
Yeah.
That's your expectation.
Yeah, that is it. And so don't make my property value go down just because you don't care about your.
That's right. House. You are getting old. You're talking about property values now.
Dude.
I'm telling you that picture. For those of you that are listening instead of watching. His picture, he has a look on him that he's going to feed the pigeons and the squirrels and yell at every kid that walks by the house. That's the look that you have.
Hey, I'm not kidding when I say this.
Boy, you're going to be a fun old man.
Yeah, I am. I'm already a fun old man. Hey, I'm going to say this. When I go on walks, which I do often, my family and I will say, hey, let's go walk the neighborhood. Sometimes we'll walk 2-3 miles together, right? Yeah. Sometimes it'll be all four of us. We'll just walk the neighborhood, go on a nice little walk. And obviously when it's warmer. But when I walk, they say, okay, listen, they're like, before we go on the walk, Dad, you can't complain about people's lawns or they literally say that. Yeah. And then when I do comment, they go, this is not fun. They go, this is not fun. Stop commenting on everybody's lawn or the condition of their house.
Yeah. Well, hey, so sometimes people don't cultivate their yards and their lawns.
That's right.
And we've been talking about cultivating the vineyard of our marriages.
That'll preach.
And so, hey, one thing you could do today, for those of you that are married, is tell your spouse you love them.
Yeah.
Right? Mean it.
That could be the basic thing.
If you can think of something nice to say it.
Yeah.
If you think of something good to do it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is we assume that they understand we love them. Yep. We assume that they understand that we want the best for them. But we tend to build up on the negative things. The negative things tend to build up over time. And sometimes it can start to, the negative things that we do and the negative things that we say or the mistakes we make, without counterbalancing them with intentional good deeds and with intentional good words to the other one, sometimes the scales begin to tip. Yeah. And you start running out of gas. And so part of that cultivating of this relationship is, if you think of something good to say it. If you think of something good to do it. So make today one of those days where you on purpose cultivate the vineyard of your love.
And let me add to that and say, if you're already a person who you feel like, hey, I say I love you every day, I do sometimes good things, can I up the bar for that category of people and just say, let me inspire you, let the Song of Solomon inspire you to write a love poem or write a sweet note or leave an extra sweet, unusual thing, right? Because if saying I love you is unusual, then do it. Mm-hmm. But if saying I love you is just another Tuesday, then do something unusual. Write a nice note or something sweet. And surprise your spouse so that they say, well, "What was this for?" Yeah, right. That'd be sweet.
Or what did you do? This.
Okay. What do you want? What do you want now? Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, surprise them.
Yeah, that's a good place to end. All right. So hey, we will see you hopefully Monday with us again on the Bible Guys.